The Witcher 4 and Cyberpunk sequel are coming. We're getting a whole Witcher Trilogy. This is coming from CD Projekt Red
Yeah.
themselves, and this article is from Kotaku. Cyberpunk 2077's controversial history doesn't seem to have dampened CD Projekt Red's ambitions at all. The Polish development company announced a sequel is coming at some point, currently codenamed Project Orion. It also has 3 Witcher projects in the works, including an entire sequel trilogy planned to follow up the success of The Witcher 3. The full slate of CDPR's upcoming release plans were teased in a new strategy presentation shared on Twitter, and I'm still trying to wrap my mind around how that studio continues to promise no more crunch and is going to deliver all these before the PlayStation 7 comes out. Their plan, James, is to release all of the
Did they
Witcher
say
games.
that by the PlayStation 7?
No, it's a joke. Like, this is a joke. It's just saying, like, because they always delay their games so much.
Yeah.
They're basically, CD Projekt Red says that the next 3 Witcher games will all be out in the next 6 years. They said, oh, after 6 years, we'll have an entire new Witcher trilogy. That is bonkers to me. But here's everything that we have confirmed. We have Project Hater, which is a new IP. Nobody knows what that is. They're working on that.
Hadar,
Yeah.
not Hater.
Hater with a D.
Like Bill Hader.
Yeah. We have Project Sirius, which is a new Witcher game from the Molasses Flood studio. We have Project Polaris, a new Witcher trilogy from CDPR. So, excuse me, that's 4 Witcher games right there. We have the Witcher trilogy from CDPR.
No, it's 5. Oh, sorry. 4 Witcher games. Project Hater is no IP. Never mind.
Yeah. So the new Witcher trilogy and then the Witcher game from Molasses Flood. Which one did Molasses Flood do? Did they do?
I don't know.
I think they did a spin-off game or something. Maybe not a spin-off, but like I don't know. Check on that for me. And then we have Project Canis Majoris, which is a story-driven open-world Witcher RPG from a third party. So that is 5 Witcher games. And then we have Phantom Liberty, which is Cyberpunk 2077's expansion from CGPR. We already know about Phantom Liberty. That's coming early 2023. And then Project Orion, which is Cyberpunk 2077's sequel. So we're getting a sequel. I'm like so stoked about this. I didn't think that was a possibility. Did not even think that was an option here. What are you seeing?
Stakes are high for that game.
Oh, extremely high.
The 2 games that the Molasses Flood did are 2 indie games called The Flame Flood and Drake Hollow. Neither are Witcher.
Okay,
themed.
got you. Oh, because did CD Projekt Red, did they buy Molasses Flood?
Don't remember.
Okay. What are the last 3 bullet points here?
Hardly any details are known about any of these games, but the clear takeaway is that CDPR is going to double down on the Witcher and Cyberpunk licenses while still trying to make something entirely new on the side. A timetable for when these grand plans will come to fruition is also thin. The new Witcher trilogy is planned for release across the 6-year period, but is still in pre-production, while Hater remains in the conceptual phase, and Orion, the Cyberpunk 2077 sequel, doesn't appear to even be in the stage of production yet. It's worth remembering that CDPR first announced Cyberpunk 2077 back in 2012 and released its first trailer in 2013, nearly a decade before the game was actually launched. Now, keep in mind, although that was when the first trailer and tease was announced, they didn't start production until 2015?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. CDPR also outlined its intent to bring multiplayer to its upcoming games, something that had been rumored for Cyberpunk 2077, but ultimately fell out along its reportedly rushed and rocky development and post-launch period. Quote, introducing multiplayer to most of our new games to enrich the single-player game experience.
Yeah, I watched a lot of the strategy videos, 17, 18 minutes or something like that. And it seems like they want to preserve the single-player aspect of their games because that's what they know. That's like their bread and butter. But they want to add multiplayer aspects that are optional that you could do. I don't know if that means a whole new mode or a whole new world. I just don't understand what that means. For Witcher, what does that mean?
Right.
I don't know.
Is it Gwent?
Right. I guess. Do you choose if you're
for Cyberpunk, I can't. Here's my issue with the multiplayer things. It's hard to make this feel meaningful in a narrative-driven game because if it's just going to be gameplay based, I feel like that's not where these games really shine the most. In terms of Cyberpunk 2077, their shooting mechanics and their combat mechanics are fine.
Yeah,
but they're not. That's not the star of the show. The star of the show is the characters, the dialogue options, the narratives.
Right.
And so how do you create that and add to that with multiplayer in a way that feels meaningful to every player?
I think that Cyberpunk could do it. like there's so many cool things you could do. Is like, could I hop in with my V and your V? I don't know really know how they would make that work. Or maybe you make a new character for an online mode and you're part of uh like an edge runners. What's the group they have? What do they call that?
I forgot what, but they're edge runners.
Edge runners.
That's what
Imagine
they
you
are.
make a
They're
group
edge
of
runners.
edge runners, like and you
Mhm.
and your buddies and stuff, and you can do heist type dealios or stuff
I
like
feel
that.
like you would feel stale, like because there's no personality behind
Your
your
character.
because your character, right?
Well, that's like GTA Online.
Cosmetic, but like
That's like GTA
then,
Online doesn't have any your characters like that's what all multiplayer games are. Is the only way to express yourself is in what you
but
can
that's the
wear
thing.
and
And
stuff.
GTA has great gameplay though. GTA,
Sure.
like the driving feels tight, like
Yeah.
everything like clicks so well. Whereas like Cyberpunk 2077, like the driving is like just okay,
Yeah.
like the shooting is fine, like the core. Like I'm saying, the most enjoyable part of the experience is not the like going through a compound and shooting up enemies.
Right. Yeah.
At least not for me. That's not what I get from these games. That's not what I know a lot of people to love these games for. It's for
Yeah.
the story, for the characters, which is hard to implement into your own characters, especially when it's multiplayer and everyone has similar experiences. When that character that you have is kind of like, I don't know, it's hard for that to be represented across different people's games because like those personalities feel so like written in and locked in
Yeah.
from the very beginning, while there is different player choice that you can choose different options. Play V is very much like V. Like
Right.
V doesn't have a lot of variation in
Yeah.
their personality.
And I would assume if there was a multiplayer aspect that it would be a different character. Like you would be creating a new person for online. It wouldn't make sense to carry over
Sure.
V, especially with how the story is of Cyberpunk.
Right.
But yeah, definitely interesting. Stay tuned because I'm sure we'll know more. It's easy to do multiplayer for like the Gwent style card game, or something like that, because that is inherently multiplayer. But it's these single player experiences that I'm curious about how they're going to try to add a multiplayer aspect in, because could go great, could not go great, but we shall see.
Yeah.
They also, while they were announcing the Cyberpunk 2077 sequel, they doubled down on like taking the time that they need and like assuring quality. Yeah. They're like all that without saying that Cyberpunk 2077 had a bad launch. They said Cyberpunk 2077 had a bad launch and it's not going to happen again. That's basically what they were trying to say.
Yeah, they didn't need to say that again because they've already ran that into the ground.
Yeah, so pretty funny. Well, guys, thank you so much for watching this clip. If you want to watch the entire episode, you can go on podcast platforms and look up Checkpoint. It'll be a little blue box. It'll say Checkpoint in yellow. You can click that, subscribe over there. Or if you want to check out the entire video podcast, you can go to youtube.com/strictlycasual and become a member right there. You get the whole video podcast, or you can watch clips for free on youtube.com/strictlycasual as well. Thank you guys, and we'll see you next time.